And it is for those of you who are struggling with grasping the concept of what you need to do to create your goals, what milestones you should set yourself, what reasons you should give you to do this, how to stay focused. So mindset for success, after being an entrepreneur for over 6 years and running my own businesses and teaching people how to start their own businesses, there's a lot that I've learned along the way. And my mindset for success, I'm going to reiterate for you guys so you can get a good understanding. And a lot of things I've learned, that it's not like there is no shortcut to success, but there's definitely a shortcut to getting yourself in the right mindset. And the number one thing is going to be, what are your reasons? So whatever your reasons are for what it is you're doing, what you want to do, what goals you want to achieve, whatever the reasons are, find them. If you don't have the reasons, find the reasons. Whether it be for your family, for yourself. And don't feel selfish or like you're a greedy person because you want to do this for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're doing it for yourself along the way, being able to achieve, any level of success, whatever you have in mind for success, if it's money, if it's freedom, if it's more time, whatever it is, you're going to be able to share that with others. So it's not selfish, it's not greedy. Money is not the root of all evil. And achieving success and being abundant and prosperous is something that I'm pretty sure we were put on this earth to do. So whatever your reasons are, find them. Now the number two thing is going to be focus. Now there's a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs talk about all these different words and a lot of different hype of how to be successful, how to have a successful mindset. And a lot of these guys, they do know what they're talking about, but honestly, you can say dedication, you could say persistence, you could say, there's a lot of different things, taking action, which is super important. But to me, the number one thing that has got me through, no matter what obstacle comes my way, is focus. Focus is literally the most important skill you can have when it comes to achieving your goals, achieving any level of success, whatever it is you want to achieve. You're not going to be able to do it without focusing on it, right? If you let yourself be distracted by outside influences and opinions, and let's say another episode of your favorite show is on TV, for example, what do you want to do with that extra hour of time? Do you want to sit around and watch a TV show, even though it is enjoyment, and you want to focus on that show? Or do you want to focus on becoming successful, achieving your goals, not working until you're 70 years old or later, right? Like, what is it that you want in life? And if it's success, then focusing on that, exactly what it is you're doing for yourself to achieve your success, that is what you should focus on. Now, I'm not saying dedicate your entire life and every waking, breathing moment to one thing and one thing only, which is like whatever business you're running, becoming successful. In this case, if it's e-commerce and drop shipping, just because you want to be successful, it doesn't mean you have to dedicate every waking moment. But I mean, I live and breathe what I do. So with business, I've kind of become a business person. Like, that's literally all I breathe and all I do. But on my off time, I do enjoy myself. I do enjoy life. But what I've realized is sacrifice is another massive thing that is super important. And if you're not willing to make sacrifices, which usually comes in the form of time, if you're not willing to sacrifice time you usually spend to relax, time you usually spend to go for drives, time you usually spend to go enjoy some of what life has to offer. If you're not willing to sacrifice even some of that, you're going to have a very hard time achieving your goals. You need to, number one, focus, right? Find your reasons, whatever they are, and focus. Number two is be willing to sacrifice. And then number three is ignore outside influences and opinions. So it doesn't matter what anyone will say to you, what anyone's opinions could be, doesn't matter. 99% of the people trying to give you their opinions and their influence are going to be people who are broke or struggling or in debt, or someone who's going to be mad if you do become successful because they are not. So do those opinions really matter? The only opinions you should appreciate and value is people who are where you want to be. Someone who has already achieved success, someone who's already living the life you want to live. That's the opinion you want to hear. Those are the influences you want to have in your life. So if you don't have those influences in your life, block them out. Keep your focus, right? And the easiest way, now everything is easier said than done, but I found the easiest way to kind of block it out, even if it's family, because you have to be sympathetic and empathetic and understanding for family and the people you care about, but you have to, at the same time, not let yourself go down to any other level other than the level you're on for yourself. So if you want to be successful and the people around you don't have those same goals, you can listen to them, you can talk to them, you can even empathize, but don't let yourself slip to a point where you're feeling the same way they are, feeling that life sucks and money is hard to come by. No, it's not. Life is amazing and money is not. I'm not going to say money's easy to make, but it can be made, and there's a lot of businesses you can do to make a lot of money. And e-commerce drop shipping is probably one of the most simple paths to creating a business, because you don't need to buy stuff up front. You can do it a couple hours a day. So if you have trouble with distractions in life and influences and stuff like that, you'll learn over time. Like, you don't have to be a master of this stuff immediately, but over time you're going to learn. And the good thing is, with like drop shipping, you can spend a couple hours a day, like 5, 10, 15 hours a week. You don't have to dedicate every waking moment to it, and you can still grow a business. And once you start to see that little bit of success, once you start to see some sales coming in with your business, then it's going to set in. This can be reality. And as soon as that starts to happen to you, you need to immediately take your focus to the next level. And I'm not saying dedicate 30 or 40 hours a week all of a sudden. I'm saying take your focus and put it on that. Put your focus on what it is you're doing, right? And create goals. Now, the thing with creating goals, number 5, creating goals, and a lot of entrepreneurs will say write your goals down. Recite your goals to yourself every single day. And I mean, it's really good to create your goals, but thinking about it and writing it down and sitting there and spending all this time thinking about your goals, you're literally wasting your time, because what you should do is create your goal, set your goal into motion, forget about it, and take the action. Take the necessary action that's going to get you to achieve your goal. Stop spending time on thinking about your goal, writing more goals down. I mean, a lot of people will say that's a great way to do it, but for me, create a goal, go. Right? It's simple. Create the friggin' goal. Start working. Stop thinking. Start working. Take action. Stop thinking about what it is you're going to take your time with, what kind of extra goals you can write down. Create your goal. Take the action. That's literally all you need to do. It's just it's super important that you have to understand this, because there's so much crap out there. There's so many entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs that'll tell you how to set your mind right, and how to do this and how to do that, and how to create goals. Literally, when it comes to creating goals, create one friggin' goal. Don't create 3. Don't create 5. Don't create 10. Create one goal. Don't think about it anymore. Once you've created that goal, if you start to let your mind wander and you let your mind think, your subconscious mind's going to start to kick in. And all of our subconscious minds since birth have been programmed to think money's hard to come by. Goals are hard to achieve, right? And you got to have some sort of form of luck. You don't need luck. You don't need to be lucky. Money's not hard to come by. All you have to do is take the action. So create your goal. Don't think about it. Stop thinking in general. Stop thinking, period. The only thing you should be thinking is how you're achieving your goal. What it is, what are the actions that are going to get you there? And don't sit there thinking about it. I mean, actually do it. Right? So, and then number 6, go right back to staying focused. Right? So find your answer, find your reasons, start focusing, ignore outside bullshit, leave yourself absolutely no choice, and then create your goals, right? Create one single goal. After you've achieved that goal, then is a good time to create another goal, right? So if you want to make your first $50,000 in a year or $100,000 in a year, all you have to do is create the goal. What are you going to do to do it? I'm going to list 10 products a day. I'm going to list 10 profitable products every single day until it comes a point where I maybe have reached 1,000 products in my inventory. Honestly, that's kind of going off track. If your goal is $100,000 profit in a year, how you're going to get there is listing new products in your e-commerce store. You're going to list new profitable products. And along the way, all the other stuff you'll figure out. Like capital, if you need more funds, take your profits and fund your business as you go. Don't spend too much time thinking about that stuff. Don't think about the extras, the obstacles. The more you think, the more chances you have of literally creating obstacles for yourself. You're literally going to you're going to self-defeat. You're going to self-defeat. So you need to not think, you need to take action. So create the goal, take the action. Along the way, as things happen, obstacles come your way, all you have to do is go, how am I going to get past this obstacle? Will this obstacle matter 3 months from now? If the answer is no, just push on through. Keep going, keep taking the action you need to take, right? Giving up, not an option, nor should you ever let it be an option. Never let giving up be an option. And I know there will become times, especially in the beginning, when you're starting your first business or when you're finally starting to see a tiny little bit of success with the business you've started, and maybe you get your first return, or maybe you have a first obstacle come your way. Maybe you need to get a loan for your business and the bank doesn't give you the loan. Never ever give up. Always do every single possible thing you can to keep taking action. Even if you have to scale your action down. Let's say you have a physical illness, or let's say you have a physical disability. Something happens to you. Obviously, if you end up with no arms and you can't type on a computer and you can't physically take the action, I mean, that's going to be the only thing that could stop you. But I know people with some serious physical disabilities and even mental disabilities that are able to take action and achieve their goals. Whatever it is in life that you want, doesn't matter your illness, physical disabilities, whatever it is, or your physical capabilities, mental capabilities, you can literally achieve anything you set your mind to. You just have to stay focused and take action. So becoming successful isn't easy, number 8. But with the right system, it can be simple. So what we teach you in SupremeCommerce, we've literally been doing this for over 5 years, 6 years, and we've done millions of dollars in sales doing it. We've taught hundreds and hundreds, over 1,000 people plus to do this business and to make sales and to grow a business. And the people who don't end up succeeding are literally the people who end up giving up, the people who stop taking action, the people who let the obstacles and the negativities overwhelm them, and then they're paralyzed, they stop taking action, right? Or they let outside influences and opinions actually matter. So if someone says you're not going to be able to be successful with that, and then your answer is, well, I know a lot of people who are, and my teacher is successful, and I know other students that are successful. A lot of the time people are still going to say, doesn't mean you can do it, it's probably fake, it's probably a scam. And if you let that stuff bother you and let that stuff sink in, you're never going to be able to achieve your goals. You need to stay focused. Like, that's why I say focus is the most important skill you can have, because if you stay focused, it literally doesn't matter what anyone could ever say to you. Doesn't matter what anyone could ever do to you. If you are focused, nothing can break that focus. And if you stay focused and continue to take action, it's literally the only 2 things I've ever been able to do. I was terrible at writing goals down. I was terrible at creating goals. I would always switch back and forth between my goals. And I would even shrink my goals, because if I didn't achieve a certain goal, then I would shrink my goal to try to be more realistic as to the goal that I can achieve. Worst mistake you can ever make. Always keep a huge goal and don't stop till you get there. So the 2 things that kept me on track and that helped me achieve what I've achieved is literally staying focused and taking action. No matter what is going on outside, those 2 things, focus and action. That's all you need. All you need is focus and action and a plan. Now, the best thing about what we're teaching you guys is that with like I said in number 8, the right system, it can be simple, not easy. So I don't like to say it's easy. So number 9, learning from someone who is already where you want to be is the easiest, and I say that lightly because no business and becoming successful, not easy. It's actually really hard. But like saying that it is hard, if you're on your own, you have no resources, and you're trying to start a business, you're trying to be successful, you have no education, no knowledge, no resources, no other people's knowledge that you can leverage, you're going to have a really hard time. But if you're watching this video, that means you already have leverage, you have other people's knowledge, you have proven success, you have literally every single thing you need to achieve it. So the only thing stopping you is your inability to focus and your inability to take action, right? So like I said, even 5 to 10 hours a week, all you need. But you need to make sure you're taking action in that time, listing products for sale. That's how simple dropshipping business model is. List products for sale and you will make money. It can't get any simpler than that. You need a little bit of capital, whether it's on a credit card or in your bank, and you need to list product for sale and then make sales. It's literally so simple. You don't need to learn marketing. You don't need to learn how to advertise. You don't need to learn how to talk to people. You don't need to learn how to be a salesperson. You don't even need to speak to one person on the phone ever with this business. It's literally the perfect business for the introvert, right? There's a lot of extroverts that do really, really well with the business too, and they try to network and do all this other stuff. And if you see people doing that kind of stuff, you don't need to do it. Dropshipping is as simple as learning from someone who's already doing good with it, which you have inside SupremeCommerce, following the footsteps of someone who's already done it. That's us. And we give it to you step by step. Follow those steps, implement what you learn, and the only 2 things you need to make sure you're doing is focusing, taking action. Along the way, you're going to learn, right? You're going to learn, and learning is important. So if you've seen a lot of other mumbo jumbo stuff about mindset for success and this and that, there's probably a lot of key points you're seeing that are missing in my 12 points right here, which is going to be like learning or dedication or persistence, and all that stuff's important. But number 2, focus, the most important skill you can have. If you're focusing, are you not persisting? Yes, you are. If you are focusing and you're taking action, are you not dedicated? Yes, you are. If you're focusing and taking action, are you not every other thing that any other person could say that you need to do to become successful? you're doing it. If you're focusing and taking action, you're doing all those other things. So instead of having to be confused and try to learn how to be persistent, learn how to dedicate yourself, learn how to create goals, learn how to dedicate time, learn how to do this, and this. You don't need to learn how to do any of that shit. All you need to learn is the business that you want to do, and you want to learn it from someone who's already doing it. And then you need to focus and take action. It's literally that simple, right? And like I said, easier said than done, but it is doable. Hundreds of thousands of people are doing dropshipping businesses. And the crazy thing is, eBay and Amazon platforms, no matter what anyone says about it being saturated or this and that, we are always 1 to 2 steps ahead of what everybody else is doing. And that's why you're in the right place with SupremeCommerce. If you follow everything we show you, you can and will be successful, but you have to stay focused and you have to take the action, right? You can't just take a program, watch the videos, list one product, stop taking action, and then sit there and wonder, why aren't I rich yet? Well, that's literally what a lot of people do. And if that seems crazy to you, like, why would someone do that? Why wouldn't they, keep working the business, keep growing it? I'm telling you, like 70% of people that will probably, maybe even 80% of people that will take an online course and they tell themselves they're dedicated, they want to be successful. They'll watch like 10%, they'll watch a couple videos. They'll rather say, this is too hard, or you know what, not for me, I give up. And there's nothing wrong if someone ends up thinking, well, I took an affiliate marketing program and it wasn't for me. That's okay, because if you're still thinking, but I'm still dedicated and I want to stay focused and become successful, that's all right. But I'm telling you, a lot of people will join a program, they'll start learning from someone that's doing really, really well with it. They've been teaching people for years, and they'll watch like 10% of the videos, or they'll watch it all. Then they'll do like this tiny little bit of action, right? They'll take like 2 steps. They'll literally spend 1 day working at it. Then they won't work at it for 2 weeks, and they'll be like, well, I started the business, I started taking action, where's my results? Why aren't I rich? And it's like, that's why you stop taking action. You have zero focus, right? So if that seems crazy to you, there's a lot of people like that. And if that kind of resonates with you a little bit as to you find yourself not taking enough action, and I'm not trying to take a stab at anybody who's not staying focused and not taking action, because this is a skill set that is learned over time. But the reason I created this video is to literally give you guys every single thing you need when it comes to outside the business, outside the training, which you can become extremely successful with if you stay focused and dedicate. But what we're showing you here is the mindset you need to have, right? And you don't need to be a guru. You don't need to be you don't need to have a multi-million-dollar mindset. You don't need to be any of this stuff. All you literally need to do is pick, what are your reasons, find them. Start focusing, which is the most important skill you can have. Leave yourself no choice. Create a goal, don't think, take the action. And then go right back to staying focused and taking action. That's literally all you need to do. So let's go to number 10. So you're going to go right back to leaving yourself no choice. So dedicate any amount of time you have. If it's 5 hours a week, if it's 20 minutes a day. If you have a part-time job, good for you. You can dedicate like 50, 40, 50, 60 hours a week now. There should be no reason why you can't dedicate at least 10 or 20 hours a week if you don't have a full-time career. And I know people that have full-time careers that are dedicating like 30, 40 hours a week outside of their 40-hour-a-week job. Now, if you have family, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you have dependents, stuff like that, no one's going to be mad at you. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to say, you suck, you can't dedicate 40 hours a week to your business. Because you don't need to. 5 to 10 hours a week is literally all you need to do. As long as you're taking action, listing products on your eBay or Amazon store in that period of time, that 5 to 10 hours a week, you will start to create a business. You will start to get sales. You will start to make money. And once you catch that wave, once your business starts to actually profit, then you're going to, that 5 to 10 hours a week you were dedicating, let's say last week or last month, where you were getting little to no results, and then you start to get some results. 1 month later, you're still taking that same action, even if it's 5-10 hours a week. All the work you did last month, this is the really good thing about building an e-commerce business. All the shit you did last month, all the effort you put in, which you might not have reaped any friggin' rewards for, the following month you will start to see your work will pay off, right? And then you go month 2, you put in that same 5, 10, 15 hours a week, listing more products, staying focused, taking action, listing more products. You will then start to see that trickle over 2 months in a row, 2 months of effort. That's going to trickle over into the 3rd month, where you're going to start to see more sales, more business, more everything, right? Your business is going to start to grow. Month 3, put in that same 5, 10, 15 hours a week. Do it for another month. Month 4, your first 3 months of effort are going to trickle over into month 4, and by then you should start to see some consistent, almost daily sales, especially if you're following the training properly. And that's the crazy thing about dropshipping, right? All you have to do is list products for sale and your business will grow. But if you're just listing any random product and you're listing at like no profit, you don't know. You need to obviously you need to learn yourself. You need to self-learn, right? You need to follow the training, not just self-learn, but you need to learn and absorb everything that's inside our courses, because what we're showing you is everything you need. We're showing you more than you'll ever need to be successful with dropshipping, right? Like in all seriousness, there's multiple ways you can build these businesses, but we show you the simplest ways, and then we show you more complex like original listings, and then there's so much other stuff we show you, and we're always going to be 1 to 2 steps ahead. So right when you think, now the crazy thing for you guys is right when you think you've learned all there is to learn about e-commerce and dropshipping, we're probably behind the scenes learning more stuff, and we're just about to implement it into the courses for you for free. And there's going to be another way for you guys to make money with it. So if you think there's going to be a ceiling or a cap or a maximum to how much money you can make, the only maximum is going to be, you're not going to be able to make more than $200 billion, because that is how much Amazon does in a year, currently anyways. So that's, you're not going to be able to make more money on the Amazon platform than Amazon does in business themselves, right? But let's say 5 years from now they do over $1 trillion. You could probably do $200 billion. Literally, the sky's the limit. There is no limit. The only limit is hundreds of billions of dollars. So if you're able to do a very, very small fraction of what eBay or Amazon does in a year, which is hundreds of billions of dollars, like $500 billion, if you can do a very small percentage of that, does that not make becoming reaching the 7, even 8-figure mark more realistic? So if you were to take, this is a mindset. This is actually something my dad taught me. He said, put a guy who makes $5,000 a year and he's on welfare. He looks at the guy that makes $50,000 a year like he's rich, right? He's got a car, he's got a house, he's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's got a white picket fence, he's got a nice cozy little life. And to the guy that's on welfare, or the guy that's on disability, or the guy that's, making 10 times less than the guy making 50K, whatever the reason is, he looks at the guy making 50K a year as if he's rich. The guy making 50K a year, he's looking at that guy that makes 100 to 150K a year with a slightly bigger house. He's got 2 cars, not 1. The guy that makes 50K a year looks at the guy making 150 as if he's rich. Like, wow, I wish I had that guy's life. Hopefully 5 to 10 years from now, I'll be able to make as much as he is or she is, and I'll be able to, have a way better life. And it's like, that's also kind of in part to the grass is greener syndrome. Like, everywhere you look, you think something is better. You need to be grateful for what you have. If you're not grateful for what you have in your life, no matter how much you focus and dedicate yourself, you're going to have a hard time achieving success, because if you're not grateful, it's just a dead end for you. So learn to be grateful. Now, we're going back to that lesson of, now the guy that makes 150K a year, he's looking at the guy that makes $500,000 a year going, wow, that guy's ballin', he's rich. He drives, instead of driving a $50,000 car with a $300,000 or $400,000 house, he drives a $100,000 car, and he's got a $500,000 house, and he makes $500,000 a year. That guy's rich. And then you go into the mindset of the guy who makes $500,000 a year. He's looking at the next guy who makes $5 million a year. He's got $1 million home. He's got a $500,000 car, right? And he's going, now that guy's rich. Guess what the guy who makes $5 million a year is thinking? He sees the guy making $50 million a year, right? There's a lot of people that make $50 million a year. He's seeing a guy that makes $50 million a year going, I wish I had what he had. He's rich. He's successful. He's got 2 Lamborghinis. He's got a $10 million mansion. That guy's rich. Guess what the guy making $50 million a year is doing? He's looking at the guy making $500 million, who has, let's say it's the owner of a Fortune 500 company. He's the CEO. He's going, that guy's rich. Guess what that guy's thinking? It literally it's a trickle all the way up the ladder. It's literally the same thing. And this is a mentality that if it's a huge mental block for people in the very beginning. If you can easily open your mind up to this, and that's why I'm teaching you this guy with the step with the one guy looking at the next guy, and then the next guy, and the next guy, right? Because the guy making $500 million a year, he's looking at Warren Buffett and Bezos making $50 billion a year or $5 billion a year, right? So, and those guys are looking at maybe the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers making $1 trillion a year. Like, you never know. Like, the ladder just goes all the way up. It's the point of this lesson is money is not limited, right? So if you're the guy making $5 grand a year or $50 grand a year or $100 grand a year, and you're looking at the next guy. The guy makes 150 or 300 or 500K or 5 million or 50 million. Every guy you look at you think's making a lot of money, they're looking at the next guy going, that guy makes a lot of money. So if Amazon and e-commerce, right? E-commerce is basically a $1 trillion industry. Like, I'm pretty sure in 2019, by the time the year's out, it's going to be over $1 trillion. If it wasn't in 2018, I don't know yet. I know it's well over $500 billion. So if you look at a platform like Amazon that does $200-something billion a year in sales, right? $200 billion. If you were to be the guy that's like multiple steps down, you don't need to be the next guy that makes $50 billion a year or $5 billion a year or $500 million a year. You can be the guy that's like 10 steps down from that, selling on the Amazon platform. Do 0.00001% of that $200 billion. Guess how much that is? 4 decimal points, 0.00001. Correct me if I'm wrong, $2 million or $20 million. How to get a chunk of the Amazon pie if you're getting literally a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent, which is very, very, very achievable. You can have an inventory of a few thousand or a few hundred products as long as they're listed properly, as long as they're profitable, and they're on the Amazon platform, you're going to be able to make a lot of money. And that is why e-commerce and dropshipping, especially on the platforms we teach for, is probably the most insane and lucrative opportunity of the decade, of maybe even of the next 50 years. Like, it is insane to be a part of the 2 biggest platforms in the world. And with what we're teaching you, like I said, we're always going to be 1 to 2 steps ahead. So if you want to look at the next guy who makes 100K or 500K a year like he's rich, guess what those guys are doing? Just guess what those guys are doing. They're looking at the next guy. And that guy's looking at the next guy. And so on and so on and so on. So to use that analogy, looking at mindset for success for you is going to be, look at who's doing what with e-commerce, right? I know people that I know Amazon sellers that have been doing it for 4, 5, 6 years, and they make me look like I'm the poor guy, right? Like, I did over $1 million in 2018 just on Amazon US, and if that seems like a lot, that's literally nothing. Because there's these guys that have teams of, they have their own warehouse, they have teams of like 50 or 60 employees, and they're doing like, I think this one, the biggest screenshot I ever seen, and this is from a guy I actually knew, his name was Aaron, and I'm pretty sure he did $38 million a month in sales. So he did Amazon US, Amazon Canada, Amazon UK, eBay US, eBay Canada. And between those 5 platforms, he had a collective total of about $38 million in 30 days. Right? That's $500 million a year. That's $500 million a year. $38 million a month is almost $500 million a year. And guess what? There's guys doing way better than he is. There's guys that are doing like, you know, out of the $200 billion a year in sales that Amazon does, there's guys that are probably doing a couple $1 billion. So for you to be able to jump on the Amazon platform and do $100,000 a year, $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, a couple $1 million a year, you're taking literally such a small fraction, such a small piece of that multi-billion dollar pie, that it is very realistic for you. You need to make this a thing. You need to know this and understand this, and not in your mind but in your heart, that getting this and achieving that level of multiple 6 or 7 plus figures, very achievable, right? Very achievable, and you can do it very easily. I don't want to say easily, but simply. It's a simple business. It's a simple process, and what we teach you guys step by step. Now, we've done multiple millions of dollars in sales since we started, just on the eBay and Amazon platforms. So who better to learn from than someone who's already done millions of dollars in sales, right? And that's not to boast or brag in any way. This is 100% directed for you, just to literally open up your mind and give you an understanding, right? That's and also for you to know that you're not following a guy who created a course and made 10 grand in sales. Like, there's a lot of the courses out there where someone will do their first year on Amazon or first year on Shopify. They'll do 100K in sales, and then all of a sudden they've created a course. Like, we literally waited 4 years. We waited till we did over $1 million in sales before we decided to create SupremeCommerce back in 2016, right? So you're learning from someone with proven track record, someone who's been doing it over 5 or 6 years, not one of these kids or someone who's created a course after they got lucky and they did it for a year and made a tiny bit of money. All of a sudden they've created a bunch of courses. Like, that's not it. And I'm sure you know that by now, and I'm sure you can see that, especially in this video as we're talking right now. What we're giving to you is step by step. And so the point of this video is for your guys' mindset. So if you're struggling with your mindset, I hope you've learned a lot. so far. So we have 2 more points that I want to make sure I give to you guys. Now, if you want to take a second to kind of just relax and kind of absorb what we did, what I've taught you so far in this video is finding your reasons. What are they? If you don't know what they are, find them. Your most important skill you can ever have is focus. Next thing you want to do is always ignore outside influences and opinions, right? And then you're going to want to leave yourself no choice. Don't leave yourself any choice, right? Don't give yourself a plan B. Don't give yourself a fallback plan. Don't give yourself the choice to stop doing it unless you've realized it's not for you. Like if you started a business and you actually even started to make money with it, but then you just think, you know what, maybe I would enjoy something else. And this is something that I learned from one of my mentors is it's not about doing what you love. And I know that's going to be a really shitty thing for a lot of people to hear. Everyone wants to follow their passion. Everyone wants to do what they enjoy and to make money doing it. But do you know how many millionaires or how many billionaires do you know that are enjoying what they're doing, right? How many of them truly, truly in their heart love what they do? Now, there's quite a few people who love what they do, right? Or they found a way. They might not have loved it at first, but they found a way to love it because what it did is it made them successful. So they found a way to love it because they knew that they need to not do what they love for a living. They need to do what it takes. So what you need to get inside your mind, you can always do your passion, but I would say unless your passion is e-commerce and drop shipping, right? If that's your passion, you're lucky because you can make a lot of money doing it. And if you like it, that's friggin' awesome. But if you want to follow a passion, I suggest doing it on the side and try to build a business doing it, right? But what you should do is if you're making money with one business, like this business, if you're making money with it, do not give it up. Stick it out. If you want to become successful, it's not about doing what you love and the money will follow. It is about doing what it takes. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If what you're doing is working, right? If what you're doing is making you money, should you keep doing it? That's all you have to ask yourself. If what you're doing is making you money, should you keep doing it? Yes or no? Yes, right? Clearly, you should keep doing what it is that's making you money. Do you necessarily love what it is that you're doing? Do you love every single thing about it that's making you money right now? Do you love it? Probably not. You probably don't love everything about it. But guess what? Doesn't matter. If it's making you money, that's what you need to do. Now, when it comes to the following your passion, what I like to do in my life, so in my personal life, I do what it takes to become successful. I do what it takes to get to that next level. And I'm also really focused on helping others, as you can see. With SupremeCommerce, we're super, super dedicated to helping others. And that actually brings me a lot of joy. Like helping other people, that's probably the only business I truly enjoy. Like I like e-commerce. It's cool, it's fun, but also pisses me off. And there's a couple other businesses that I do that I might not necessarily love or enjoy. Now, SupremeCommerce and teaching others, I fucking love it. But aside from that, what I do with my life, I take the things I do outside of my business, right? Outside of business life. Those are the things I find time to do, the things I love. Whether it's a hobby, something fun, traveling, whatever it is, that is when I use my heart. That is when I find and do the things that I love, right? If you don't love what you're doing for a living, but it's making you money, you don't have to love it. It's okay. But what you can do is take all the time you get outside of when you're working, right? So when you're in your normal life and you're enjoying life, that is when you want to find things that you love that you can do. Whether it's a hobby, you can even try to build a side business with something that you love. But if it's not making you money, if you're doing something you love and it doesn't make you money, stop trying to make money with it. Do what it takes and do what works. Most important thing you will literally ever learn is do not do what you love and the money will follow. I mean, that can be true like 1 out of 100 times. What's true 100 out of 100 times is doing what it takes. Not doing what you love, doing what it takes. Doing whatever it takes to become successful and make money. So if what you're doing is making you money and you don't like it, keep fucking doing it because that is what's going to make you rich, right? If you want to do what you love, you're going to have to do it on the side, or out of 1 out of 100 people who get lucky, they end up loving what they do, and if it's making them money, that's the best possible scenario. But you don't have to be sad if what you're doing for a living or what you're doing to become successful isn't making you like happy, it's not what you love. Don't be sad. Go out and do things that you love outside of that, right? Find ways to enjoy life outside of what you're doing to become successful. And when you're done enjoying life for those brief moments, because in the beginning, you need to put in a lot of sacrifice. So when you're outside of doing those things you love and you're back to working, stay focused, right? Most important skill you can have, staying focused. So number 11, learning to leverage. So leverage is going to be the thing that propels you to, let's say 1 year from now, you have an eBay and an Amazon business, you've done a couple $100,000 in sales, or you've done 100,000 in sales, right? Being modest, or even 50,000 in sales, and you've made some money. The only way you're going to get to the next level is by learning how to leverage. Leverage, most important thing after learning all these first things of building your business, becoming successful, focusing, leaving yourself no choice. The next step for you, so if you're already at this step, so the good thing for you with this video is I'm not leaving anything out. So 11 and 12, this is going to be what you want to hear when you've already been doing it for a while. So if you've been waiting for this, here it is. Learn to leverage systems, your time, other people's knowledge, even other people's money and skills, and also software. If you don't learn how to leverage these things, right? And I can give you examples for each one, but if you don't learn how to leverage other people's time, money, skills, knowledge, and software, with software is a relatively newer one because of the age of technology. Like 50 years ago, you weren't able to really leverage software. 70 years ago, you weren't able to leverage software to build a business for you, but now you can, which is friggin' crazy. But learning how to leverage these things is going to be what propels you from, let's say, 6 figures or multiple 6 figures to 7 figures, or from multiple 6 figures, 7 figures to 8 figures, right? 8 figures to 9 figures. Leverage is going to be the only thing that takes you there. And the reason is everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. Everybody's got the same 24 hours in a day. So what does that mean? You can only work a certain amount of time a day, right? So if you've been grinding for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you seem like, okay, last year I made about the same money I did this year, what the fuck do I do now? Well, this is where leverage comes in. Leverage, right? If you're making a certain amount of money in a year and the next thing you need to do is start leveraging. So like I said, 24 hours in a day, let's say you're working 16, you're literally just work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep, work, eat, sleep. Maybe occasionally exercise and go to the bathroom. Like that's what I did for the first 2 years of my business. All I did was work. But then I reached a ceiling and I was like, shit, what do I do now? You know, I did $500,000 in sales last year. The year's almost out and I'm at like 600K. I've barely gone any further than I did last year. What do I do? And that is when I learned to leverage other people's time, other people's knowledge, other people's skills, other people's money, and all other people's systems and software. So an example of those things, a system, SupremeCommerce, right here, education, learning. You're learning to leverage by taking our courses. You're leveraging knowledge of 7-figure earners, right? We're 7-figure earners and you're leveraging our knowledge. You're also leveraging our time because we put so much time into creating these courses for you to learn. You're leveraging our time, but another way you can leverage people's time is to outsource, right? So tasks that are not directly making you money. So with an e-commerce business, the tasks that don't make you money, we actually give you software for that in Mastering Amazon and eBay Secrets courses. We give you software that does orders for you. It does your inventory. It uploads tracking. Boom. So if you, let's say you're spending 40 hours a week running your business, you're doing everything yourself. You're doing placing orders, uploading tracking, customer service, every single other task you're doing yourself, and you're spending 40 hours a week. You're not going to be able to get any further without leveraging software or a system or other people's stuff. So in this case, what you can do, software, which we give you in eBay and Mastering Amazon, that will do your inventory management, repricing, right? And that's the basics. That's going to give you like 5 to 10 hours a week back. 5 to 10 hours a week at least. All of a sudden, you got an extra 10 hours a week. What are you going to do with that time? Make more money, right? Then you're going to be able to leverage and automate, use the software to automate orders, and you're going to be able to automate uploading tracking. So with an e-commerce business, those 4 things are literally everything. The only 2 things left, listing more products for sale and customer service. Guess what? Our automation course covers outsourcing to literally automate your business 100%. And that's hiring VAs to do the customer service and list new products for you. You can have a 100% fully automated business, and that is leverage to the ultimate max. And in that case, in the case of SupremeCommerce and doing every single thing we teach you, we are giving you the leverage for a system. We're giving you the leverage of time for VAs to automate 2 parts of your business, and we're giving you software to automate the other 80% of your business. You're going to have 100% maximum leverage, and you can have a fully automated business where you can literally sit back, do nothing, and make money. Crazy thing is, when you're doing 100% automation, you have VAs listing new products and handling customer service for you on top of the software that does orders, tracking, and all that. You're going to continue to make more money. right? Because if you got VAs listing new products for you, that is, your business is literally growing while you're doing nothing. And this is what we set you guys up with. We want you guys to be able to sacrifice a lot of time and a lot of effort right now. And this is kind of leaning into number 12, which is my final point, which is sacrificing the time and the effort and the money, whatever you have to sacrifice now. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Because what would you rather sacrifice? 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, or even 10 years of your life right now, right? Miss out on some times, miss out on some fun stuff, miss out on some things you could have enjoyed. But guess what? You can sacrifice this 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 years now, or you can sacrifice 50 years, right? You can work until you're 60, 70, 75 years old. Guess what? You're going to be too old. You're going to be, and you're not going to be in a position where you can enjoy certain things that life has to offer that you can enjoy when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Like, you can enjoy the majority of things life has to offer while you're still able to, right? So by the time you're 75 or 80, and let's say you're retired in your 70s, how many people do you know in your 70s that can still run like a 10K run? They can run and jump over a fence. They can perform like they could 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, the older you get, the more you can enjoy life and be grateful for it. And I know that. And I'm a younger guy, and I already know these things because my parents are old. My parents are in their 70s, and they've told me many things. If I could go back, and my dad says this to me, and he's been an entrepreneur for most of his life, but unfortunately he had to work until he was in his early 70s. But what he told me is, if I could go back 50 years, and if I could start a business, and if I could literally dedicate, like, between when I was 20 years old till I was 30 years old, or 30 years old to 40 years old, or if I could be from 35 to 45, if I could just spend that time working like fucking 100 hours a week on something that works, I would take it all back, and that's what I would do. I would go back and dedicate 10, 15 years of my life to achieving what took me a lifetime that I didn't even end up achieving in an entire fucking lifetime. And that's what makes me sad, is to see people that go their entire lives, and when the people that look back and enjoy it, look at their life and they're grateful for it, and they've enjoyed their life, because, like, it's not, being an entrepreneur and being successful isn't the only thing in life that you can have, right? Like, there's people that have great careers and they love it, and they've lived a full life, and they loved their career, they loved what they did. And some people just can't stop working, right? Like, I know there's some people who literally will work till they die, and not by choice, or not because they have no choice, but literally because they want to, right? They can't not be doing what they did for a living because they loved it, right? But my dad said to me, if I could go back 40 or 50 years or 60 years and I could start over again, I would rather spend 10 years of my life working like living in a cave and literally seeing no one, having no human interaction, just working my fucking ass off, to come out the other end of that time period still in the point where I can enjoy life and have all the money I would need for the rest of my life, for my family, for my friends. That is what I would do. So that's my mentality. That's my mindset. We're trapped in a system where, unfortunately, our world revolves around a financial structure which was created by the elite. It used to be bartering and trading, and everyone was able to prosper. Everyone was in abundance, and all of a sudden a dirty group of elite bastards basically took over the world, created an entirely new financial structure, and said, we're going to limit you to how much money you can make. We're also going to take money from you every year. So for you to be able to become successful and prosperous and abundant, we're going to make it really fucking hard. You know what I say to that? Big middle finger. We don't hold anything back. Every single thing that I do on Amazon is in mastering Amazon. There is nothing missing. Dropshipping, originals, FBA, dropship to FBA, building a brand, searching out multiple sins, doing millions of dollars in a year in sales. Every single thing that I do and that we do is inside the course, right? We didn't create our course and go, you know what? We should hold back a couple secrets. We should keep some of the good stuff for us, right? And to be honest, in the very beginning when we created our courses, I actually created it because I had enough of my friends asking me, and they were asking Sam and I, can you help me start a business like this? What can you show me how? And I was like, well, yeah, I can show you. Then we started to get so many people asking us, like, you know what, we should create a course, but what we should do is we shouldn't include every single strategy there is. And you know what? As soon as I thought that to myself, I thought, if we do that, if we create a course that's half-assed, or if we create a program where we give people like 80% of the good stuff and keep 10 or 20% to ourselves, what kind of teacher are we, right? We're going to be like everybody else, where you know it. If you bought other courses, you know for a fact that by the time you got to the end of the course, you fucking knew it. There's something being held back from you. So if the buddy's doing $2, $3, $4 million a year in sales, and he's been doing it for 3 years, and 3 years later you can't do the same fucking thing, that's bullshit. So what we're showing you, we're doing a couple $1,000,000 a year in sales, and within a couple years you're going to be able to do the exact same thing. And if you can't, I mean, like I said, we're holding nothing back, right? Every single strategy that I do with my Amazon business, I give to you guys. We share it with you. Nothing is held back. And I think that is the right way to teach others, is to literally show them the way and do not hold anything back. Like, if you look back in time to ancient teachers, do you think there's stuff there's shit that they held back from their students? Like, why? If they're not making money and they're not prospering from it, right? Why are they doing it? They're doing it to help others, right? And that's why we literally created our course, because we had people coming to us saying, help me. So when we created our course, we didn't create the course to make money. We created the course to help others. So what I realized is, let's not hold anything back, and we never will. We will always literally be 1 to 2 steps ahead. We will always deliver 100% of every single little piece of thing that we do to do millions of dollars a year in sales on eBay and Amazon. You guys will always have it. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry if I went on, any couple little rants, and if you don't like cursing, I do apologize for that as well. I mean, I just get a little amped up because sometimes, I see people in life that they go through a lot of life, like they go through decades of life, and I can see regret in their eyes. And that's another thing that really bothers me, is seeing people with regrets, right? Like, I have regrets, but that's what I've decided to dedicate my life, dedicate my time to building my businesses and to helping others. So I don't have to see, I can see, even if we can help just a very, very small chunk of people break free of those regrets, break free of the financial chains we've been put in, right? Break free of that bullshit, then I will be the happiest person in the world. So that's what we're here for, guys. As always, any questions, make sure to drop them below, and don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with anyone you think needs to see it. And we'll see you next week.